Good afternoon, it's me again, and it's week 2 of my series on the Apostles' Creed based on Alister McGrath's book, I Believe. And this week we're talking about, last week we talked about I believe, and then we're finishing that sentence, and I believe in God the Father Almighty, maker of heaven and earth. Let's see. First, when I'm with the kids, I will ask them about why they believe in God, because it's always good to say you believe in God, but why do you believe? And that will be a good way to think. As for me, well, I was raised in it, so of course I'm going to believe in God. But also, when I was 3 years old, I had a baby sister that was born and she died after 23 days. And so I was a goth kid growing up. I mean, I'll still be pretty morbid today. I always bring up death. And so, but that bothered me. And then one day when I was 7, Mom mentioned heaven, and I was like, so that's a real place? And she was like, yeah. And so I believe it, because I don't want to believe that my sister's gone forever, or even now that my mom is gone forever. I don't want to believe that I will be asleep forever whenever I die. And so I have to believe in something. And even if it wasn't real, I'd rather believe in that than the other alternative, and just nothingness. And so that's why I believe in God, why I believe in Jesus. Well, with Jesus, Christianity is pretty much the only religion where you don't have to do anything for your salvation. All religions and cults, pseudo-Christian cults, world religions, they all have some kind of work or deed that you have to do to get saved. With Jesus, you don't have to do anything. He did all the saving for you. But your saving will change you on the inside, and then you'll be able to do what He wants and stuff. But before that, you can't do anything. You can't even accept Him. He has to change you. And so this is the only religion where you don't have to work to be forgiven. You can be forgiven of your sins, and when you are forgiven, God changes you on the inside so that you don't have to sin anymore. You're no longer a slave to anything. And so I also talked about last week how faith is like an anchor. It keeps you rooted. Well, my faith kept me anchored to God throughout high school, throughout college, when all my friends wanted to listen to Marilyn Manson or some kind of other crazy music, or just wanted to compromise if friends wanted to party or something. I mean, I was abandoned, but my faith kept me strong because I knew that there was more to life than just temporary high school or college friends. And it kept me clean, it kept me a virgin even when I had a boyfriend, and that's by the grace of God. And it's hard to live the Christian life, but God is there to help you. And Christianity is the only religion where God will help you through the whole thing. And so I'm going to start this week by reading Isaiah 40, verse 25. It says, "Who will you compare me to, and who is my equal?" says the Holy One. Asks the Holy One. And of course nobody is equal to God, but since we can't see God, we have to describe Him in ways that we can understand. And the most common way is through God the Father. And when I think of the word Father, I of course think of my father. And if you have a good example of God, my father, Andy Smith, is a good example of God, because he earns money, he provides for me and my brother, he gives me advice, he's never left me or my mom, or he's never gone out, he's always been faithful to us, and he created me with my mom. And God the Father is our creator, our provider, our guidance. He'll never leave us or forsake us. Now, there's a lot of people out there who do not have good fathers. They had abusive fathers, or at most they got drunk or had affairs or something. But so if you don't have a good father to compare God to, Alister McGrath here says you could probably compare Him to your mother, or He can simply be the father you never had. A lot of people consider Him that way, and there's a lot of ways. If I imagine God having a personality more like my mother than my father, but I love both my parents. So moving on, Isaiah 40 verse 26. He says, "Look up and see who created these. He brings out the starry host by name. He calls all of them by name, by number. Because of His great power and strength, not one of them is missing." And so this moves from Father to Creator. And Alister McGrath asked, is there any part of creation that makes you aware of God? Well, to me that would be the mountains. You go to North Carolina, you see these amazing mountains, they're huge. And just to think God is even bigger than that. And then Alister even mentioned sometimes it makes you feel kind of lonely or insignificant. Well, mountains are huge, God's even bigger than that. I'm just a small little creature. And even thinking of eternity going on forever or always, that frightens me. It gives me nightmares. God has to soothe me somehow. And so, but amazingly, I must assume God felt the same way. His creation wasn't complete until he made people, until he made me, until he made you. He specifically made you. He knew what he was doing when he created you. Even if you were illegitimate, you were not an accident because God planned you. And so his creation was not complete until he created people. So, I mean, what would God need with us? But it humbles me to think that he would want me somehow. And for our craft this Sunday, I'm going to try to make some kind of gift for Dad. I didn't make this for Dad, but I went crazy at Hobby Lobby this week. I've always wanted to do these color by number paintings. I can't draw a straight line with a ruler, to quote my dad. I can hardly draw stick people, but this is a color by numbers poster. A caveman can do it. And when I was finished with it, I was like, it's not red or orange enough, so I figured out techniques for making it red and orange enough, and I like it. I'm proud of it. And now something not as good is this little tiger puppet. It's terrible. I still don't have the googly eyes drawn on. I was like, maybe I need a hot glue gun or something, but I just found some red yarn and a needle, stabbed myself a few times. But anyway, that's my show and tell for the week. Well, I hope y'all have a good week. Okay, bye.